Alright, and welcome back for episode 15 of Stoneblock 4. And I think today we're going to be getting into some Oritech. I need to use them to get my next step up on some power output, because the tiny little thing I got going down there is just not enough right now. So we're going to work on expanding that, and since we're already going to be getting into Oritech, I might as well just do Oritech stuff. And what I mean by that is Oritech actually has its own tab down here under Forgotten Technology. And I'm going to need all of these anyway. I had planned to get crushers, a foundry, I need an assembler, and I want a couple of these centrifuges, and then I'm going to want a few of these enderic lasers as well. And we should be able to get all of that taken care of in this episode pretty easily. So, let's get to it. Now, Oritech is really cool because it's all multi-block type stuff, and we end up needing these machine cores, and there's a bunch of different levels to them. So like if you go in here, primitive, basic, improved, basically what it does is the higher tier cores you use when you put together the multi-block, the more add-ons you can add on to it, because these machines have these add-ons you can put on it, like speed add-ons to make them faster, efficiency add-ons to make them more power efficient. They're really handy. But you use these add-on extenders that add these blocks on it, and all these spots that look like plugs are open faces that you can put the add-ons on as well. The machines have some already, but for you to put even more on, you can add these extenders on and then add them onto those. But you can only have so many additional spots per what tier of core you're using. But the one that I'm going to start off with using is the basic one. I'm just going to skip this because I don't want to make crafting tables for it and use wood just to have the most basic one when I can just use copper and lapis. I already have all of that on endless generation, so I might as well use it. I would go the next tier up, but I need to use the centrifuge to get the carbon fiber strands. So, oh well. For now, we'll do these. And I'm going to make probably a couple stacks of them just because they're useful in a lot of different Oritech machines. So it's good to just have them. And with that, we will start off with getting the assembler. And for that, we're going to need a couple of these crafters, which require a couple droppers. So we'll need, I'm just going to grab like 20 of these. I keep needing them for different recipes, so grab that. And then make another stack of these because those are used in a lot of recipes as well. And now I should be able to make my 2 crafters for that. The adamant ingot is really easy. It's literally just nickel and diamonds, so I can just get a stack of that. I'm gonna go put this in the system real quick because it's going to be a resource that we're going to come back and keep using. It's kind of my standard procedure, and then once I eventually run out of space, which I still got a decent amount of chests left, but I also have a little bit more wall space. One thing I did while I was off camera was I set up making other rock generation, which you need to, as I was showing before with this fire, you can throw it in there, but you can also use create fans to do the process as well. And I just have a fan behind here with a little water wheel behind it for minimal power. Ooh, sorry, my voice. For minimal power output, just to get it going. And then I have it piping in diorite, which turns it into other rock, and then I'm putting that in here. And I limited this chest to only have 1 stack because I don't want it to just go through everything. Because the other thing I did was I made this tier 1 crafter, which these are fairly easy. It's a couple crafting tables, a couple redstone torches, and a machine frame. And the machine frame is just 4 invar plates, 2 lapis, and a redstone over in the world engine for a little bit of power. Invar is an alloy that you have to use for a lot of a lot of Oritech and a couple of the other mods, and it's just 2 iron to 1 nickel. unless you're using the Oritech Foundry, then it's just 1-to-1 for 3 instead of 2-to-1 for 3. But what I did was ahead of time, oh yeah, what I was getting to with the crafter, sorry I distract myself, I'm using stone essence and I have it remembering the diorite recipe, and it just filled my system with diorite so that I have it. That's the reason why I wanted to do that. I don't want to just keep using all of my essence and just make thousands of everything. But what was I getting to before I lose track so quickly? So crafter, getting all this is what I did. Stone, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, the Invar that we're going to be needing. So you can do it with just this and go 2-to-1, and it's not bad just because it's a 1-block thing you don't have to mess with. But don't forget Foundry as well. It does the exact same recipe, you just toss it in here, and I did it with 2 stacks of iron and a stack of nickel, threw it in here, and then had it all come out on ingots. And the way you want to do that too is it'll show the different levels of the liquids for the different molten metals. Once it alloys and the one you want that's alloyed, and that's the one you want to cast, you click on it and it puts it to the bottom. Whatever's on the bottom is what this will start casting when you turn it on. So usually I'll have that turned off until I get what I'm trying to cast, and then I'll click it and then I'll hit that, and then it'll just keep on alloying and then casting as it comes out. But you usually want to make sure you have enough of it in here so you don't end up crafting faster than you're alloying and then end up using some of the metal before it gets turned into what you need. But down here is where we're going to end up putting some of our Oritech stuff. I'm thinking I'm just going to put a wall of it right here, because I think I'm going to use this corner for replication. But I think right here I can start doing some of the Oritech things. And for that, I also want to get power going, but I need to get a few of these Oritech machines up and running as well. So back to the assembler. Now I'm going to grab the copper reinforced, and I'll get a couple stacks of these, and just like most things, I'm going to stick those in there, and I'm going to stick these in here as well. And the last part of the puzzle is these motors, which take magnetic coils, steel, and nickel. And steel I can get fairly easy. Magnetic coils is the Invar with copper wire. And copper wire, you just throw copper plates into the stone cutter. And I should have a whole bunch of copper plates just kind of sitting around. Yeah, I got a stack right there. I'm going to definitely need more than this. So I'm going to get a couple stacks of copper, and I'm going to go down and get these turned into plates. But I'm going to turn all of this into copper wire. And then that way I can just make a stack of these coils, or a couple stacks technically. Oh. I made 3 stacks of wire. Okay, yeah, never mind. I got a stack of coils. Anywho, motors. I'm gonna grab we got like 20 of these because, again, another thing we're gonna need for a bunch of Oritech stuff. But now we can get our assembler. And then the centrifuge, I have all the other things for. I want at least 2 of these. Pulverizers, I'm going to want 3. And the foundry, I just need at least 1 of these. This way, moving forward, when I go to make some more Invar, I can make it cheaper. And there's probably some other alloys that I can do that are a lot simpler in this fashion as well. Now for the Enderic laser, I need to get some of this stuff set up. So I can get my carbon fiber strands, as well as getting Enderic compound, because I'm going to need to centrifuge some ender dust, which is just crushed ender pearls, up until the point we get our fragmenting forge, and then I can just do 1 ender pearl to 12 instead. But for now, we'll have to do the longer process for a shorter output. I can actually just use the pulverizer to crush it into 8. So actually that'll be the better option. At least for enduric compound. But for now, I need to make some more cables. I don't know why I had to search it. I already have it right here. And then a nice trick with the way that these work, I can just grab a few of these alloys because it's the next step up. And the way I'm going to connect all the power over here is I'm just going to run this cable along the back here, and then I want to upgrade it to the higher tier. So all you got to do is take the alloy and right click it on there, it'll turn it into the next tier up. And then the same thing for the next step above that, you just got to use the higher alloy from this and click it onto the red one. I'm going to do that, and then I want these up on top, so I'm going to stick that there. And these are super easy, you don't have to like know how to build it, you just look at it. Oh, there was the light there. And then, yeah, you just click all the frames onto it straight on, and it'll build itself once it's done, and you can open it and use it. But it doesn't have power as of yet, so I'm going to stick a gate on the end under here to power this all up. This is all connected to that network, which as of right now, we've built up a 40 million FE battery, which is not huge. I mean, we've got 6 million and 25 million there too as well. But this is what the wireless network with these gates pulls from. And with that, that is now powered, and we can use this for whatever we need now too. And then for now, I'm gonna go ahead and set up, put one there, and I'll give it a 2 gap, because one of these I'm gonna use with no fluid add-on, and then I'm gonna have to build a fluid add-on for the other one to use it for stuff that mixes fluids. Now, I'm only going to put one of these crushers over here because the other two I'm going to use specifically for our power plant. And this is already ready to go. There's no need to actually add any cores to it. And the last thing I wanted to get going, the foundry. And with this, you just slap in a couple metals and it makes what you need. Now we have our basic stuff up. Slap these in the crusher. And just like that, enduric compounds. See, now one thing we're going to need to get is fluxite. And carbon fiber strands is just coal dust, which is just crushed coal spun in the centrifuge. So we're gonna, and then the way you make fluxite is you have to use an enduric laser on a amethyst cluster. So we're gonna need to get a budding amethyst, and the way we get that is actually pretty easy from what I remember. Yeah, budding amethyst. So we can either do it this way, or if I make a transforming focus, I can just make it in our little molecular metamorpher, or you can infuse it. But that's a little awkward because I'm going to have to mess with my bookshelves just to get it within range. Because I need to go under 50 on quanta. But I might be able to do that. Let me see, what are we at? Whoa, give me back my, Oh. That should be easy. Super easy. Or wait, it was supposed to be at least 50, or you know what, I'm just gonna test it. I think that's it though. I just had to remove that, at least with the stage that I'm at. Yep. Infuse it, and now we have a budding amethyst. And what's fun too is if we get another one of those, and we go to the world engine, and you throw this in here instead, you get a flawless budding Certus Quartz. Now, Certus Quartz is used for AE2 storage, which is what we're working towards getting into by the end of this chapter. But I'm already generating, ironically, the regular Certus Quartz, which is what this would normally grow for us, the Certus Dust, which is what you get from crushing the Certus Quartz. And normally, to get charged Certus Quartz, you would have to throw these in a charger. But what I'm going to do instead is use the Enderic Laser. And luckily, our crushing factory's upgraded a little bit, so I've at least got the speed and energy upgrades in it to increase it by like 10 times. So it works fairly quickly, but for now, I'll just grab a stack of this. And we'll go slap it right into the centrifuge to spin out some strands. And it works fairly quickly too. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just utilize both of them to split it up to make it even quicker for now, since I'm not actually using the other one for anything else as of yet. But to get that fluxite, we need these Enderic lasers. So I'm going to grab some of these strands. And following basic operating procedure, stick that in on the network, and then now we use it for crafting. So now we need an Enderic lens, which means I need another adamant, which I have on the system, I just need to grab it. A couple of those Enderic compounds and a carbon fiber strand. So I'm going to grab 2, 4, and then 2. And it should just be boom, boom, and boom. Because I'm going to need a couple of these. I want at least 2 lasers. For now. I need more later. Now I've got my Enderic lens. Getting lost in my own base. I always end up facing that way. That's how the orientation is on my base. I didn't set it up the same downstairs as upstairs, apparently. What was I doing? I'm getting distracted is what I'm doing. So now, I've got my 2 lasers. And with this, what's really nice, and what I think neat, is I think I'll put it on this wall over here. So I'm just gonna put these right here and right here. And then put them together. And now I need a tool so that I can actually have these target something But what I'm going to do, I'll put, nope, wrong spot, that spot. And then I'll go budding quartz and then budding amethyst. And honestly, it probably doesn't matter about opening up the back of it, but I'm going to do it either way. I'll just stick some light behind there just cause. And pick those up. And then I'm going to put a controller access point right here. Because I'll stick that there. I don't like that spot. Actually, that spot's okay, but I need to do... Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. So now, I'm just going to pop open behind here real quick. Output, output, and then now I can stick this right here, so it'll automatically be input, and then stick that on the network. So now, whatever these pull out will go directly on the network. So once they start actually making what they're making, I can put it on and not have to worry about it. But I need a tool. I need to at least make a, there we go, a basic targeting thing. So I need 3 processing units now. Oh, that was in here, right? Should be able to just go like this, this, this. A. Oh yeah, no, I just gotta put it in. Plastic, strands. Boom, boom. I really gotta start like putting them down here in order so it's easier for me to remember. So we should only need 3 for what we're doing. That, an electrum, and a couple steel. So now, boom, target designator, and then just for no reason at all, I'll get the advanced one too, because we'll need it for other stuff later, and it works the same. It just has additional stuff that it can do. But now what we can do is shift right, oop, not that. We'll go shift right click, and then shift right click and shift right click. Now they are targeted, but they don't have any power. Which comes in, instead of doing some cables for each one, I'm just gonna slap a gate on both of them. Oh, there was a light source that was sitting there. I was like, why did it get dark out of nowhere? There we go. Now, as you see, they charge them up automatically, and then they farm the one that's on top. This, instead of getting amethyst, gets these fluxite instead. And this automatically charges the Certus quartz as it farms them. It's not the like fastest process, but it's going to be doing this in the background, and I won't have to worry about it. We can work on moving towards what I was actually wanting to get into. The biogenerators. Now we're going to be needing to make some flux gates, which is why we needed that fluxite and those processing units. So now Grab that back. Boom. Boom. And boom. And this is also part of... Oh, it's not letting me go into it. But now that I put that in my inventory, that was also part of this quest line for the main chapter, which is another reason why I was doing this. Still haven't made the mob slaughter factory, which is the reason why it hasn't completed this section for me yet. But getting partial progress on this. I'm gonna finish putting up the power, probably get set up, replication set up, and then that would probably be the end of the episode after that. And then next episode we'll probably just go through, finish off this stuff, and get into the next chapter, as well as getting our start of AE2 storage going, so I can finally have auto crafting going. Yep. Got all the stuff for that now, and I can stick this on right here, because like I said, these spots would look like plugs. Now it has the ability to have fluid inside of it, unlike this one, which will allow us to do some of these other recipes we're going to need to do, because I'm going to need that a bunch of that biosteel, and to make biosteel we need raw biopolymer, which looks like it's really easy as well. It's just water and packed wheat. Packed wheat's just 4 wheat. And packed wheat's actually what we're going to end up using for our to generate our fuel for our power. But I should be able to throw that in there, and then I need water. Screw it, I'm just gonna do this. Stick that there. And where are my water pipes? Still got a few. And then search up water, filter water, submit. It put molten carbon in here for some stupid reason. I think I just needed to remove the fluid add-on. And water. Jeez. And just like that, biopolymer. And biopolymer should be done. Or raw. Yeah, raw biopolymer. Ugh. And we're going to go ahead and just slap that in here and let it do its thing, and we'll be back for that as well. And in the meantime, actually, I can just let that go and not worry about it for just a second, because I need to make another one of those tier 1 crafters. And I should be able to just boom, 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 and then get another one of our machine frames, so I can make another tier 1 crafter, and then I'll set the crafter to automatically make those compacted wheat that look kind of like a cheese wheel. But if you grind those in a pulverizer, you get biofuel. Got more redstone torches, and then just like that, tier 1 crafter. And I already have wheat being permanently generated over in our greenhouse zone over there. So for power, I'm going to set the power up over here. And that means I'm going to put... I'll do like this. Because I want this to output to these. And then these, I'm going to have output to the generators. And then for these, it's pretty easy to set this up, because you can either manually put in the recipe up in here, and then you click on here and you hit apply with after the recipe's in, and it'll lock it onto that one. Or you can just go like this, like I'm doing compacted wheat. So, or let me just, there we go. Packed wheat, my bad. You can just do the move item thing as if you were making a regular recipe, and since I already have it selected right there, hit apply. Now it'll make packed wheat, and now I just need to put down another controller and have that put the wheat into here, have this craft put into here, this will make the biofuel, and then I'm going to have all of that feed into these. And now 2 of these are up so far, and I'm going to stick these also on round robin because it doesn't burn through fuel super quickly. But just like that, we have all of them up and going. And these are all producing 512 RF per tick, so 1,000, 1,500, so about 2,500-ish. This should help out quite a bit. I think this alone is like 3 times what I was producing behind it. But now we have enough power that I'm confident that I should be able to get replication set up and actually be able to power the whole system. Because I'm pretty sure you do still have to power it. And by that I mean like all the pieces. And with that, I'm going to go start working on that. This should be a bit quicker because I believe I have pretty much everything in the system for it. At replication. Not to mention, I ended up finding a replicator somewhere, so I need one less. But to start off with, I need a disintegrator, which means I need a couple matter tanks, which are apparently pretty easy. The disintegrator allows us to put matter into the system. Come on, go away. And then I'm going to need some matter pipes, which means I need some panes. And it's not going to rotate properly to that, so I'm just going to look up regular glass panes. And just get a bunch stick in the system. Go back to replicator, or reply. Because we do need these cables, because these will connect the whole system together. It transfers the matter, and I think it transfers power, but I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. I could open the guide and read it right now, but I don't feel like it. We need the identification chambers so we can learn the recipes that we're going to be making, which is essentially just basically teaching the memory card that we're going to make right here what we're trying to replicate. So my inventory is full, so I'm going to go place down a couple of these things. Let me put that one up one more. 2 more. Because I'm going to put the disintegrator right here. Doesn't look like it's going to get power from that angle. So maybe I do have to put it on top of the power cable. That's a little... Yep. Oh well. Anywho, that is the identification chamber. And then where did my disintegrator go? I'll just stick that up in the top, because you just kind of stick things in here and it'll disintegrate it into matter to put into your system. And okay, yeah, so that's what I need to do. So it does transfer power for everything. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all the regular power cables out real quick. And we intend to have 20 replicators. Because I believe when I was reading it, it actually recommends to use 20. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then that also gives power to everything, so now everything is good and powered. And then just for starters, I'll start sticking them this way. And yeah, it's because I have all this random stuff in my inventory that I don't need. Them loot bees, man. The loot bees show up and they just start dumping materials everywhere. Like eggs, I don't want an egg. Alright, back to the grind. Then we need a chip storage. We need an iron trapdoor apparently for that. But chip storage is basically like, this is your hard drive for the system. This is where you put your memory card, and it holds all the recipes in there so that you can get to them. Then you need to make a replication terminal so that we can actually access all this and request things. And I think that's all the random stuff aside from the tanks. I need 19 replicators, so I need to just get 19 times this many materials. So I need 19 basic machine cores. I think I already have more than that in my inventory. So I'm just going to say 20 to make it a round number. 20, 40, 60. We need 180 replica ingots and 40 infused alloys. And there's that. And then there's that already. And now I just needed, what was it? The replica ingot, 6 times 20, so 120. And I have that right here. And yep, I have it already going. I got him up brushing those other rocks that I was showing earlier. So I'll just grab 2 stacks to make it a easy pickup. And I don't think it needs anything more than power. Yeah, we could have made this really early on, but we didn't have a way to power it. And honestly, it wouldn't have been worth sacrificing a bunch of materials just to print other materials. Not at the time, at least. Where am I going? What am I doing? I'm so excited to get it built, I just keep running back over there. Yeah, I do want to make 19, not 20, so I'll make sure that I have the numbers balanced out for that at least. Yep. And there's our last 19 of our replicators. Come over here. Slap these all on. Yep, they are all connected just fine. And then I'm gonna put another cable all the way across right here. I'll probably end up clipping off a certain section of that. But we need our chip storage right there. And need to connect it to the actual wire. There's nothing in here right now because we haven't learned anything, but these are all the different matters that you can get and what you need to combine. Right now, the system can work. We just need to throw materials in here. But we don't have any tanks. we need tanks to hold the matter. And I believe it was 8 different matters. Yeah, 8 of them. But what I want to do is get the matter overflow tanks. And what these do is basically, it's like having a drawer with a void upgrade on it. So if we end up, because the way that I'm going to end up filling these is I'm going to use red matter. Red matter just makes an even amount of every type of matter. So you just stuff it in there, it gives a bunch of it too. That's how you can charge the system. That way, if I end up making a bunch of materials that use like primarily 2 or 3 of them, and then I go to refill it with red matter, instead of it being stuck and not being able to get any more because all my tanks are full, it'll void all the extra that's going into the ones that are full and then finish topping it up. Because I don't really need to hold on to that much, and I eventually want to have the system set up to where I have red matter coming in for free and just kind of going straight into this system. So I just always have these tanks full. But these I'm going to set up over here. Yeah, so these 2 I don't need. I can always add more tanks to the system if I really want to. Just to add more storage. And for that, all I have to do is kind of build above. And I can just stack these up on top of each other because they'll stack with each other. But I also have spaced out a couple on the end and then add another row up here on top. But this system doesn't necessarily need to be expanded on anymore. It's already good where it's at. These, so if I make 20 of these, so if I grab that, because these will increase the speed of the replicators as well. What about this? Stick these on all of these bad boys. And it makes them faster. Because each tank can only accept one type of matter anyway. At a time, I should say. So like now, this one's organic, earth, living, nether, quantum, metallic, precious, and ender. And only 3 red matter, and these are all almost a quarter full. Identification chamber. Stick in your memory card. Stick in that material. Now that's part of this memory chip. And there's 15 more things you can add to here to learn them. So like I can make the basic machine cores in here now. It does consume the whatever you put into it. I can make my advanced pipe upgrades now without actually having to go through the whole crafting process. Yeah, my advanced universal cable, same thing. That is now going to be something I can just craft. Alright, and that's the end of this episode. Got our basic Oritech setup going. Got some extra power going. I may double that up, who knows. As of right now, that is completely good. Replication I'm really excited about having up. I will definitely be running into materials where it's going to be annoying to craft them, but if they have a matter value, I will be sticking them in this system so I can make it so much easier on myself. But next episode, we're going to jump into finishing off this entire chapter, getting into AE2 storage, and yeah, we'll see what else goes on after that. I can't remember what comes in the chapter after this one, so we will all be surprised when that comes. Well, if you like what you saw, maybe you learned something new, saw something you didn't like, you gotta yell at me about it, it's fine, do it. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a little love, leave a little hate. Whatever you do, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you have a good one.